Hey gorgeous souls, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another one of my videos today. So today is all about why repetition is key with the law of attraction. I am so excited to dive into this with you because I posted about this on my Instagram as a little sneak peek teaser post of like, this is what I'm going to talk about on my YouTube channel next week. And you guys absolutely loved it. And I have been feeling and experiencing this theme in my life recently, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a juicy topic to bring to my channel. So I really hope you're going to love this video and obviously take away a lot from it in terms of how repetition, like how you do repetition with law of attraction, why this is important and what results you get from it, and why I think this is really important. So if you're new here to my channel, then welcome. My name is Emma. I'm an award-winning life coach and 2-time best-selling manifestation author, law of attraction YouTuber here on my channel, and the host of the #1 spirituality podcast on iTunes, Spiritual Queen's Badass Podcast. And here on my channel, I cover all things law of attraction, manifestation, spirituality, and self-help. And not only do I really hope you're going to enjoy this video, but the abundance of videos here on my channel over the last 8 years. So repetition then. I first learned about repetition being key, obviously years ago, because I've been on this journey for a few years now, quite a few, 6 really, gosh, 6, that's flown by. And there was always repetition there, whether it's like repeat your affirmations 21 days, repeat this, do your daily practice each day. Repetition has been very prominent in my law of attraction and spirituality journey for a long time. But where I really want to like zoom in on this and like home in on what I actually mean by repetition, because we know the obvious things of like, well, hopefully we do, of like, do your daily practice, because repetition creates consistency and consistency creates results, right? Whether that's repeating your affirmations for 21 days, you're probably feeling, if you've done that, right, I'm seeing that result because I've been consistent. I've had that repetition there. What I also think this applies to is our energy, our vibration, which I'm going to get into, but also our level of results and success. Because what I've been speaking about recently, which a lot of you have loved, is actually how the belief scale is truly embodied through repetition of manifesting. So what I mean by repetition is not, right, I want you all to like, say your desire, your manifestation every single day to yourself until it manifests. We don't want that kind of repetition. That kind of repetition gets you stuck in that asking phase. And a lot of people actually do believe that repetition with law of attraction is asking for their intentions every day, or, turning them into affirmations or whatever. Like basically you're asking for it every day. And that is so damaging because it doesn't get you along the rest of those 4 steps to reach step 5 of receiving. It just doesn't, because you're stuck in that first step of asking. And I have done a video on why you should stop asking, if you want a little bit more information on what I mean by how people get stuck in the asking phase. But essentially they get stuck in that asking phase because they're like, well, it's not here, so I need to keep asking for it. The universe has heard you loud and clear. You only need to ask once. Where the repetition comes in is actually through those later stages. I would argue they come through step 2, believe, step 3, trust, and possibly even step 4, let go, but more so in step 2 and step 3. If you want some more information on my 5 steps, the law of attraction, they're in my books, and also you've got them here on my channel under my basics playlist. So repetition equals vibration and energy. Now it influences them both, which influences our manifestation. So why repetition is key is because we form new habits. We cultivate new habits and patterns through repetition, right? We know it with affirmations. If you repeat an affirmation for 21 days, you change that pattern and you change that behavior in your mind, in your subconscious, where you're like, I am worthy. I do feel this. And we know it takes 21 days to change a habit, change a thought pattern. So that's why 21 days is like a really pivotal time with affirmations, and why people say like, do this for 21 days essentially, because by that time it's going to be an embedded behavior, an embedded thought, and an embedded energy. So you're then manifesting the result of that repetition because you have had consistency with it. Whereas if you're not consistent with it and the repetition isn't there, you might find hit and miss results, and you might find, well, actually, maybe I don't feel like fully embodied that affirmation because I haven't been sticking to it every single day. But everybody's different, right? Everybody's level of belief will be different. So some people may be able to do it 3 times and fully believe it. Some people might need to do it 21 times and believe it. Some people might need to do it 40 times and they believe it. So everybody's at a different stage and part of their journey with that too. So repetition is really, really important, whether it's through your daily practice, doing that each morning, whether it's through repeating a spiritual practice or a manifestation tool or practice that feels good. Affirmations are probably the number one thing that most people are going to recommend for that. But it could be journaling, it could be scripting. But I think with those kinds of things, it has to feel good, it has to feel joyful, and it has to feel good to you. So if you're going to sit there doing those things each day and you're like, oh my God, this is so boring, I am so sick of this now, I've been doing this for like days and I hate it, that is where we don't want that kind of repetition, because you want to feel positive towards it. You want to feel joyful towards it and happy. So you can mix things up and try different things. And repetition doesn't mean just doing the same thing. It could be the same sort of things that contribute to that successful outcome and change that you want, essentially. So when we take a daily practice, for example, and you're doing that consistently, you're consistently changing your vibration. You're consistently emitting that energy from that joyful, calm, whatever energy it is that you're creating with whatever you're doing. You're emitting that energy out to the universe. And then that joyful, that happy energy then attracts more joyful and more happy energy into your life, creating new habits, creating new outputs, which creates new results with that positive energy. So I find, and if I was to say like the number one tip to someone about manifestation is repetition, because consistency is key. And me and my good friend George were talking a couple weeks ago about how a lot of our big manifestations have happened this year and how grateful we were. And we were just taking a moment to appreciate and celebrate one another. And I said, like, remember the days we prayed about this. Remember all those years ago when we sat there complaining and having a bit of a moan that we didn't have these things, which is totally fine sometimes. We got to let it out. We got to release it. Feeling is healing. And I said, look at us now. And you think we sat there worrying about this, and look at us now. We have those very things. Like, how freaking amazing is this? So I then realized, and I was like, there's something in this. Like, yes, we will manifest. Yes, many of us have probably manifested many things over the years. But what really takes manifestation to that next level is repetition. And with repeatedly manifesting things, guess what? Your belief in manifestation and your manifestation abilities is going to build each and every time. So, I look at my belief in the law of attraction 6 years ago when I started, and I look at it now. It's obviously way up here because I have 6 years of data, 6 years of experiences, 6 years of learning and experience and everything, even not from a work perspective, if I just look at it from a personal perspective of like things I've manifested for me. Because if I look at it from a work perspective, I live and breathe manifestation. So I look at my level of belief, and I also say this to clients, and I'm like, right, look at your level of belief when you first started manifesting. And if you are new to manifesting, obviously you're going to be relating to this part at this moment, but look at where you were at the beginning of your journey and where you then, your belief scale was. And look at where it is now. It will have gone up, and it will have gone up naturally because you are physically seeing results of your intentions, of your manifestations. So I do believe when we talk about belief and we talk about building up that trust, that actually through consistency and repetition, you are naturally going to build belief up anyway because you're seeing the results. Now, where that can maybe not feel so great for people is if they're seeing consistency and results with smaller manifestations, but not the really, important big things that they want to manifest in their life. Now that's where the inner work comes in. That's where Hurt, Healing, Heal, my book comes in, because there may be some blocks and resistance there that is stopping you from manifesting. So repetition only works if you're using the other elements of law of attraction. Of course, if you're just using repetition and nothing else, and you're not taking inspired action, and you're not letting go, and you're not doing the inner work, yeah, you're probably not going to have seamless results. results. But if you are integrating repetition into your daily practice, into your spiritual manifestation practices, and into your energy and vibration, all of that is really going to positively create a container and catalyst for abundance and for your manifestations to come in. And this is why I say, if you want to manifest abundance regularly, you have to be setting intentions regularly. The number one issue I see with this is that people come to me and they say, right, Emma, I created a vision board 6 months ago and like 1 or 2 things manifested and now nothing's manifested since. And I'm like, okay, what intentions are you setting? Oh, none. And I'm like, okay, so vision boards are like long-term goals. The energetics of a vision board is very much like year, 2 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It's not like right here, right now kind of energy. So I said, if you want to manifest regularly, you have to be setting intentions regularly. So break down those vision board goals into monthly, into quarterly, into weekly goals, steps, or, building blocks as such that you can manifest to work towards those bigger goals and reach them in those time frames. So, week in, week out, you can probably think of things that you want to call in, you want to manifest, whether it's feelings, I really want to feel happy this week or today. My goal for this month was to get through my books more because I haven't been reading very regularly recently. So that was one of my manifestation goals, to get through my books. So it can be anything. It can be money. And I would suggest doing a monthly manifestation goal. Absolutely. It can be feelings, how you want to feel, work goals, personal goals. So I make it an absolute non-negotiable with myself to manifest every single month. Sometimes I set daily intentions as well, or weekly intentions if I feel like it. But most of the time it's monthly intentions. And this for me, cultivates my month. It paves out the month for me, where I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to work towards. The clarity's there, and I'm not fumbling through the month like, oh damn, I wish I'd set that, or I should have asked for that. Right at the beginning of the month or on a new moon, I set those intentions so that the clarity is there for the month ahead. So repetition creates change within yourself. So if you're wanting to manifest your desire, then you are going to need some repetition there. It may not be repeatedly taking action, or repeatedly, if you want a promotion at work, go up to your boss and say, can I have a promotion, please? We don't want to pee them off. So repetition does not mean ask your boss every single day for a pay rise, a promotion, whatever. That's not repetition. Repetition is in what you do, because that outer circumstance of asking the boss, for example, is an external factor. You're not in control of that. Yes, you can show up and ask and be in the field of opportunity and possibility, but the outcome of that is not actually in your control. But what is in your control is your energy and your vibration. So when you then work on that with repetition through a practice, i.e. affirmations or EFT or whatever tool you're going to use, and you're working through any blocks or limiting beliefs and fears, you're taking inspired aligned action for yourself, not necessarily forcing or pushing, but in a way that feels right to you, and you're manifesting regularly, you are going to create a container for abundance. You're going to create a container for joy, for abundance, for whatever, because you are creating that repeating, repetitiveness. You're creating that repetition. You're creating that regular abundance. So if I was to say my top tips for creating repetition, manifest regularly, keep that repetition there of your daily practice, because the more you keep that consistency there, the more you're going to see those results. Now, I can hear everybody screaming at me, some people screaming at me at the screen saying, Emma, but I can't be consistent. How can I have repetition when I can't be consistent? That is a whole other kettle of fish. So obviously you want to look if there's any limiting beliefs or fears within that stops you from being consistent. But what I really learned recently in Time Genius by Marie Forleo, which is a fabulous course I love, I'm going to be helping to promote that in January again when the next intake is, and Marie's coming on the podcast too, #manifestation, yes. What I really learned from Time Genius that is procrastination and consistency. It comes from time stress, where you're not prioritizing the right things, because I'm very lucky. I've never had a procrastination issue. I'm a Virgo. It's I'm doing too much. I'm not doing too little. I'm always doing too much. So it's actually really interesting to learn about it from, Marie's perspective and other people's perspective in terms of when people are feeling that procrastination. And of course, I've had procrastination moments in my life. And it's true. The top priority is not there. I don't know what my priority is, so I'm letting myself get distracted. I'm letting other things come in and distract me, which stops me from actually getting stuff done sometimes. So if you are struggling to be consistent, it's because you don't know what your top priority is. And if you're like, but Emma, I know I want to write that book. I know I want to manifest X, Y, Z. Is it your top priority, or is it you think it's your top priority, but you're not actually prioritizing it? You're still then prioritizing other things, putting other things first, which creates this time stress where there's no time to focus on that. There's no time to do those things. And when you sit down, you're not actually feeling motivated or creative or whatever the word is to do that thing. So again, repetition will help with that. Repetition of creating the space each day for that top priority. Repetition in having better boundaries. Repetition in prioritizing that, cultivating the time and actually creating the space, like in your office, in your living room, like light a candle, create the scene for that creativity to come through. My number one thing is I can only write on a Sunday, and I have tried writing in the week. I have tried all sorts. And because I have so much on my plate and work in the week, there's no way I can channel books. There's no way I can feel that creative juices flowing until I'm on a Sunday where I'm completely chilled and relaxed. I've had a day off on Saturday and I am so excited to write that book because I've got nothing else to do that day. So really, you've got to create the scene for repetition and for consistency to thrive and to be a time genius, not a time stress, as Marie says. But knowing what your priority is really, really important. Now, that was simply just to obviously help anybody who's like, I really want to be repetitive. I really want to have that consistency, but I'm struggling. Look into any inner work, any blocks, beliefs, or things that you're doing to sabotage that consistency, to sabotage the opportunity for you to have repetition and consistency in your life, in your daily routine. But you will find over time, by manifesting regularly, by setting those intentions, by repetition, with some tools and practices, as long as it feels good, you will see the results. Now, if you're not seeing the results, there has to be a reason behind that. Whether it's you're not doing it every day, or you're missing a few things here and there, or you haven't been consistent with your self-love practice, or, whatever it is, whatever the area or thing is that you've been doing. There will be a reason why to that. Now, consistency is not about perfection. Repetition is not about perfection. And that's what I really want to stress here, because I know my inner Virgo would be like, oh, perfection. If I miss a day, oh my God, you're a terrible person. Why would you do that? Like, you've messed it all up. So repetition is not about perfection. It's about commitment to yourself in a way that you can honor yourself. So repetition, yes, is key, as long as it feels aligned. Because if you repeat something, as I said, with that tool and practice, that feels rubbish, that feels stressful, that feels like, oh, why am I doing this? You're not creating abundance. You're not creating joy. So it's really, really important that repetition is done through joy, and repetition is done through a place where you want to do it and it feels good to do that, instead of, oh, I'm doing it because Emma told me to. Like, that's not the vibrational energy we want. Definitely not. Because you're not going to stick to it. It's not going to feel good. So I really want you to tune in and think about where repetition is showing up in your life. Where do you need some more repetition, or where would repetition help you to create consistency that then creates those shifted, mindsets, patterns, beliefs that create those results that you want? It's not a case of, right, I repeated that affirmation once. Why am I not positively wealthy already? Like, you said a money affirmation. Why is it not here already? Consistency is key. Repetition is key. So if you want to manifest, the version of yourself who has your desire, you're going to do that through repetition. You're not just going to turn up one day and feel like, right, I really feel in alignment. I really feel like I'm the version of myself who has my desire. This feels really good. Right, tomorrow I'm going to go back to how I was. You don't go backwards. No, you don't just cancel all the good work you've done and go backwards. You move forwards with that knowledge and keep implementing it and keep moving forwards and keep that repetition there, so that you keep those results. So you keep that good vibration and that good feeling, and that consistent energy and vibration is what creates that manifestation, because you have embodied, you're an embodiment of it at that point. So you've embodied the desire, you've embodied that energy through repetition. So it's no longer a habit. It's no longer like I need to keep, repeating it. It's like a natural habit by that point. it's like second nature to you. So repetition in all forms is important, and even repetition in manifesting. Like I said, that reflection with my friend George was really great because it showed me, oh, actually through our repetition in working hard and showing up and, you know, really committing to ourselves and committing to that goal, we have achieved them through repetition of energy, through repetition of vibration, through repetition of actions, through repetition of showing up. So repetition is so important, but it has to feel aligned and it has to feel good. And through that, you create your consistency, and your consistency creates your results through that shift of energy and vibration. So I really hope that has made sense to you all. And I hope that you are looking forward to creating repetition in your life. But tune into yourself. Where can you create more repetition? What would feel good to create repetition with? Is it your daily practice? Have you maybe fallen off the bandwagon with that? Is it doing the Positively Wealthy Challenge again? Because that repetition really got you feeling good and manifesting great things. Is it, you know, that you want to be more consistent with your self-love routine, and that repetition is going to help to build that self-love, that self-worth, those good vibes within yourself. So look at where repetition is being highlighted for you. Where has this video hit home with? What area? And look at what tools and modalities you can be consistent with and create that repetition with, and set those intentions every single month. I cannot stress that enough. When you set those intentions, that abundance is going to show up. So I hope that helps. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts and your comments in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on repetition, and have you noticed that when you do create repetition, you create more abundance because you've got that momentum there. You've got that, you know, good vibes, good container. You've got those results, your beliefs building. It creates that container. So repetition creates so many benefits to manifestation because it changes habits, it changes those patterns, but it also creates that repetition of abundance too. So there are endless positives to this. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, gorgeous souls, for watching. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all. And don't forget you can join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook, where you can join myself and other like-minded souls, where we talk all things Law of Attraction and spirituality. I hope you have a fabulous week, whatever you're up to, and I will see you all in my next video, which will be on Tuesday. Lots of love.